This is Jill 201. I would like to have a little bit more educational videos that will show a bit better how much we can recognize letters in the same way as we recognize them very automatically in our hearing system as a sound that we can recognize in just a moment, like the first 9 letters. After a while, because it's still going somewhere and we follow it up a little bit. Or is it something that is more like a sound that is like the hissing, or that it has a certain noise, that it sounds like it's a certain general influence that we're following, and then we're not really sure, is it really something that we're following up or that we notice immediately? No, it has that different kind of sense that we have in that last category. I can show you how it reflects itself in how we visualize this. The same way as how we hear this is the same thing as how it can be visualized, is the same thing also how we associate certain associations from there. And the more you understand how we recognize it actually is also, and how we visualize it, the more you also understand how much it associates itself with forms and with qualities. Let's go to the letter K, which is the third option of the focusing upon one thing at a time, at a very short moment. So it's very quickly, we decide already how we perceive this focus itself. It's about focusing. And I already explained it in the previous videos. You have these 3 kinds of focus upon one thing without adding an extra element. And it's like trying to focus. Like in the A, focusing well, or very sharp, or like in the T, or you see something in the focus that you don't seem to be able to focus very well, and that's the K. And if you follow it up and you repeat this pattern a little bit, you can already have an idea what you need or how you associate this going to focus upon something. So trying to focus upon something. What you see here is a pattern that you start to see a pattern. Yes, you start to see a thing like, okay, I think I can see a pattern. So I follow that up. I follow that track that I'm noticing, and I follow that pattern. So I follow this up in a horizontal line by repetition. The other way is like, the other option is then the next one is like when you really are able to sharpen yourself well onto the object and you repeat that. What you have so much the separation of these objects that it's no longer need to, let's follow it up further. You don't need actually this repetition, or you don't really need to get closer or do something about your focus. No, it's there, it's clearly. And what you have then is that what you do have then, what is dominant, is that distinction between these elements. This distinction is also the same sound. It's just that short notes between the objects, between all the vibrations. It's a short click actually that makes these distinctions. The letter K, it's that already like, okay, the focus is going off, and what is going to be dominant at that point? Yes, I see that. You see how I have my main focus a bit off. You start to notice what is off. So I'm seeing that, and it's getting you to doubt also a little bit, like, what am I seeing here really? Is it really just one thing, or is it more things, or what is actually dominating? You're not sure anymore. And that's what it is. You see, okay, there's a deviation here. Something breaks the pattern. There's not really a pattern I can follow. Something is there that is breaking it. And while trying to see what is really breaking that pattern, you try to distinguish from your middle focus. You're trying to refocus again from your central focus idea, because that was your starting point. You had a starting point. I'm trying to focus upon a middle thing about this in the center, and I'm not able to. So you still try to refocus. So you have a process actually already in the K, and I will just explain this process, which also will go automatically and extremely quickly. But you deal with these things, and they will also define what the K is and how, or what kind of options you will have when you combine it with other letters, where there is a dominating aspect of this doubtful anything. So from the middle out, you start to see, okay, from where to where is it? You start to find out the range of that breaking point. Try to understand it. Where is the angle of differences? And then at a certain point, you know, okay, I'm breaking. There's something that breaks it up. There is something that is different, and it's from here to here. You start to distinguish from where to where it is. And from the moment also, of course, when you start to know from where to where it is, and from which angle to which angle, you start to figure out the basis of what you know and the basis of what is off, what you do not know, and what is different. So that's actually the goal for the K, and the whole process is depending on your interpretation, how much you realize also what you know and what you do not know. And once you know it, you can distinct actually that part. Okay, this is the part that I know already, and where I'm focusing upon automatically, because that's the part that I know. You see that there's something off, and I deal with it. I deal with that. That whole process provokes it that I'm going to deal with that. Once you do that, you almost go to the next letter from there, because you will be able, one moment you can have this distinction into one and another thing, you can distinct actually also how the sound is telling you something, the click sound that comes forward, the differences from where you're focusing at, where your middle point is, where your things are, and where where it distinct from where it's no longer there. So it leads you to that short sound that you hear in the end, which makes you also realize, oh, where is it dealing at? Where's that range? To where's your range? To where is the range of where it's no longer what you are focusing upon, and so on. So it starts from the middle point. So, and I do recheck, and just from that middle point, I see, okay, what is off actually from what is no longer my definition, the number one, but the number one is that middle point of focus. Yes, there is actually a little bit more than there's more to it than what I know. There's more to it than to follow up the things that I know. This is just the same thing, repeated actually a little bit. And then, of course, I check what is the range of it. So I just repeat myself again. Where is it off? Which also means, okay, at the same time, where I myself am off, perhaps even in my interpretation. And that's that openness that actually, with your automated process, once you really are dealing with that balancing out, where you're really dealing with how can I find my balance again, instead of rationalizing yourself into the which says, okay, I'm learning and this is my thing, and I'm following up the patterns, and I keep on following the patterns. You have to evolve. You cannot always find everything very clearly. Sometimes something is unclearly, and that's also a way to follow the unclearness, the clear things, but following up with that openness. You do not know at that moment. You can only know if you have that openness and deal with it, that there is a thing that you do not know, and you have to see, okay, but what's the range of what I know against what I do not know? As soon as you start to recognize that, you will be able to discover also the things that are not known, and that you're also sure which things that you do know. And then you can break these things off. You can break it off what you know and what you do not know. Once you do that, you have your own focus, and you have the focus of the things that are different at the edge, at the borders of what you know, at the borders of your abilities and so on. Then you can also see how big that difference is, and you have attention to it to see, okay, but what is it that I can deal with it? That dealing with it, refocusing from the middle, leads to the next letter that has the sound K, which is the letter C. The letter C is I restart my focus, and I give attention to what is different to what I know. There are things that I know and things that I don't, and I deal with it. And there are things that I'm following already, and there are a few things that needs adaptation. So let's follow that adaptation. That's what the letter C can all be about. Just an example also from how we approach it with a few extra words. Just imagine that someone rationalizes everything that he knows and think that you have to follow really the conditionings of that knowing, of following always this centralized focus like rationality has, and it sees also that something is off. You always have to deal with it, and if you do not know, and then you keep on that middle point vision, you keep that intact also within that pulse there, it doesn't make it very possible to continue without creating that conflict. It is actually inevitable that it creates conflict with its reality. That's actually your perspective. It has a conflict with reality, and that there you will need this whole process that I just told you. Just imagine that you do not do that. Yeah, you say no. This middle point focus is all that I follow. I follow the patterns that I know, and I'm not going to be challenged. That there might be even an extra reality that I can fill in the gaps. What I will do is I follow my thing. I see, okay, I take out the one that I do not like. I take the persons that I don't like. I take the opinions that I don't like. And I break it. I just break it away. I say I don't want it. I break it away, and that's the attack that will follow, of course. I want to break it off, and I will attack. It will not learn. It will attack, and it will remain within its closed mindness of what it already is following, despite that it always will create the same kind of conflicts. A bit better is when you deal with the evolution that you could have, this a little bit more spiritual evolution that you can have, and when you allow the unknowns to be there, then you keep also a little bit this disbalance of, yes, a piece that I know, a piece that I not know, and I deal with that unknown. This sound in unknown is not even heard. You have to keep it as an open cause. You sense it, you hear it, you listen to it, and you figure it out because of this openness, because then you gradually will sense what it is dealing with its automated system, that it will go to finalize itself on its own. It also will follow this automatism that it will balance itself out, even the unknowns. So that's imbalance is even equally important as trying to learn, trying to see what is clear. The unclearness is even more important. So then I refocus myself from that position onwards. Okay, I realize that there's something different. I have it as an open cause, and that I follow with the letter C. I refocus on the disbalance, and I also balance it out against my own center of balance that I have, which is at the same time also in disbalance. Because that I more and more see the range of what I know and do not know, what is practical, what is not practical, what I can keep on enlarging from myself as well, so that I have the full reality within my picture, is the way how to balance things out. And that's how I come to the C. That was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks again for watching. Bye.